G'day, I'm Fast Ed. It's extraordinary, but far too many Australians simply don't get enough vitamin D. Now, it probably surprises you as much as it surprises me, because here in Australia with abundant sunshine, well, you'd imagine we're all getting along okay. But actually, it's not the case. Vitamin D deficiency is a huge issue and one of Australia's biggest health problems. But if we as Australians are not getting enough vitamin D, what are we going to do about it? Well, to help solve that problem, I'm having a chat with Glen Cardwell, who's an accredited practicing dietitian and a fantastic healthy eating expert. Now, Glen, surely we get enough vitamin D, but you tell me we don't.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you, Ed? But during the summertime, we have 1 in 3 Australians getting insufficient amount of vitamin D, and that rises up to 1 in 2 during the winter time. And you'd think that we'd get enough from the sun, but in reality, vitamin D insufficiency is probably the most prevalent nutrient deficiency in Australia.
So we don't get enough vitamin D. Why should we be personally concerned? What are the effects?
Well, if you don't have enough vitamin D, then you're unable to absorb enough calcium. So you can have enough calcium in your diet, but insufficient vitamin D means you're not going to get enough calcium absorbed into your blood for strong bones. And of course, that means you're at a higher risk of osteoporosis or brittle bones. There's also mounting evidence that getting insufficient vitamin D is leading to other health problems down the track, such as an increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even an increase in weight. Well, there's 3 ways we can get vitamin D. Okay, the first way is getting it through the sun. That's exposing your skin to the sun. The second way you can get it, of course, is through supplements. And the third way is to get it from your diet.
Well, that sounds like the best idea to me, and food is kind of my area of specialty. But I've got to say, I'm still a bit confused. What kind of foods would I need to introduce into my diet in order to get vitamin D?
Well, you've got foods like your fatty fish, such as salmon or tuna.
How much would you need to eat?
You'd need to eat about half a kilogram.
Half a kilo?
Yes.
That's a lot of fish. That's like 2.5 standard serves.
It is, indeed. You get vitamin D from milk. Now, not all milk is vitamin D fortified, but if you get the vitamin D fortified milk, you need half a litre of that. You can get vitamin D through margarine.
How much margarine would you need?
You'll need about 5 tablespoons of margarine.
Per day?
Per day.
That is a lot of fat.
Eggs are another source of vitamin D, but you'll need about 20 eggs to do that.
20 eggs?
And then, of course, finally we have mushrooms. And mushrooms that have been out in the sunlight or exposed to UV light will provide you with 100% of your vitamin D requirements.
But how many do you need to eat?
You only need about 3 or 100 grams.
So you're telling me that this is all the mushrooms you need to eat in order to get the vitamin D you want in your diet? That's fantastic, because it's a really practical amount of food. And best of all, if you put mushrooms into your family meal, it means your family gets the vitamin D that they need for better health. But I do have a question. How is it that mushrooms end up with vitamin D?
Well, mushrooms generate their own vitamin D quite naturally. All they need is a little bit of sunlight or UV light and away they go. Now, what's happening right now, Ed, is Australian mushroom growers are producing vitamin D mushrooms. Now, they're available in retail stores, but Ed, if you haven't got vitamin D mushrooms in a retail store near you, then all you've got to do, quite sensational, is just take them out into the sunlight, okay, put them out there for 1 to 2 hours, and they will produce vitamin D quite naturally.
Oh, I wonder what was going on. A couple of hours ago, Glen put this tray of mushrooms out in the sun. I thought he was bonkers. Turns out he was doing a science experiment. So what's happened is, well, they haven't changed colour, smell hasn't changed, they taste the same, but you're telling me that these mushrooms now have all the vitamin D we need? Oh, that's fantastic. But I do have a question. What happens when you cook them?
Well, good question, Ed. They've got vitamin D when they're raw, but when you cook them, they still retain all of their vitamin D.
So in other words, no matter where you live in Australia, and no matter what time of the year it is, if you need vitamin D, and we all do, all you got to do is go and buy some mushrooms, pop them out in the sun for a couple of hours, you get all the vitamin D you need. And there you go, it's as simple as that. To make sure you're getting all the vitamin D you need in your diet, you should of course eat a broad range of vitamin D foods. But don't forget the mushrooms. You can buy ready to go vitamin D mushrooms, or just remember the formula. Buy your mushrooms, pop them in the sun, and then enjoy all the health benefits that vitamin D has to offer.